What is happening, automotive fanatics? It's Peter once again, the automotive fanatic, coming at you guys with a product unveiling, installation, and review. For today's product, we are focusing on Tesla, and what we are doing is we're putting a mini heads-up display in the Model Y. With the recent introduction of all these little heads-up displays on the Model Y, you're going to have many different options. You can choose the smaller, I believe it's 4.5 inch. You can choose the larger 5.5 inch, or you can step up to as large as a 10-inch display in front of your steering wheel column. The situation that you're going to run into, though, if you choose a larger display, it's going to block airflow. If you have followed my channel, one of the best mods that I did to the Model Y is that I installed the smaller 4-inch display that sits right up on the steering wheel column. It provided just the right amount of information for you driving, but at the same time, it did not block airflow. I absolutely loved it. I ended up changing it out because I'm a big CarPlay fan and I installed a larger 9-inch display. But unfortunately with that display, as mentioned, it does block airflow. Let me introduce you guys to a company called Tlyard. They came up with a new product that is also a heads-up display. It's a little larger than the 4.5-inch display. This one here, you are looking at a 5.5-inch display. And what it does is it essentially provides you with a comparable amount of information while you're driving, but a little larger, which is really nice. So what we'll go ahead and do is we're going to open it up, and the company provides a really nice packaging on this product. It's all covered up with good styrofoam, so you're not going to have any type of damage. So here is the display itself. As you can tell, it is a little larger than the 4.5-inch display. It's going to sit right into the steering wheel column. We're going to install that in a little bit. But again, it's going to provide you with just the right information on a larger display, which is nice if you've got some vision problems and such, or more of a challenge seeing smaller font on the smaller display. So here is the connection that you're going to need. So without further ado, my friends, I'm going to show you how to install this in a Model Y, but it is also going to be applicable into a Model 3. To prepare for the installation, you're going to have to remove a few things. Now there is a side panel that just sits right here, and you want to use just a small prying tool to get this off. It's essentially held by just these little clips here, so very easy to do. You do this side and also the other side. From there, you need to remove this dash trim, and this one is pretty simple. You're just going to grab it by the edge like this, and you're going to lift it. Now, I already did this just to kind of show you guys. It's held by little clips here that go into here. That's going to be on this side. Here is the passenger side, and similar to the driver's side, you want to remove this panel here. You'll get underneath here to remove this. And then all I would essentially do is once you have the dash removed, just put it aside. What I would also suggest that you guys do, this strip here is the weather stripping. It goes right into the seams of the car. You can totally redo it. The reason why I pulled it is you do need to take this off. And there's going to be a couple of clips here that... Let's see if I can, I don't think I can pull it out, but I'll show you guys with a picture of what these clips look like. You'll need to remove this panel because the connection for the Ryzen is located pretty much right here. So this has to come out. It's going to help if you remove the weather stripping, and once again it is completely reversible. As just taking a look here, this is where it slides right in, so you guys will be fine if you remove it. This piece here, there was it was sitting right here. Take a look at the very back. You essentially, to place it back in, you got to slide it in and then just clip it right into that spot there. So very easy to do as well. So let's just show you guys this L-shaped piece that I pulled out. Again, essentially it just goes in like this, and I pulled it out. There's nothing special on the inside. There's no metallic or metal clips at all. It just goes in to those little areas that's part of the plastic of the car. So this is off. Now we'll have access down there to the Ryzen links and connections that we need. I wanted to show you something that I did remove. Underneath the footwell, there is just this panel, and I wanted to remove it so that I could pull this entire carpet out a little easier so I can have full access to it. This one is pretty simple to do. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 more of these little clips that you see here. So you'll remove those, and then you'll pull this off. This line here is just to your footwell lighting. You can leave the little speaker wire connected, because you can just kind of set this one aside, as you don't really need to disconnect it. So now we have pretty much full access to all the areas that we need. We've got the Ryzen set up over here, and I'm going to go ahead and locate it to make sure that everything is where I need it to be before I start the final installation of the wiring and such. The next part is we need to take this piece off so that we can replace it with the dash display. These ones are also going to be very similar to some of the other little connectors that we took out. And let's just take a look here. Once again, it uses these little clips that you have to pull out. And it helps to have this type of tool. Alright, and then that is loose there. I'm just going to set this right here. What I'd recommend that you do is put the wheel all the way down and all the way back. And let's see if I can pull this off here. Okay, what I found was, using my plastic prying tool, I just put it in this little hole here and pushed up on the other side, and it pops right off. Again, these are held in by little clips. It was all right. Here we have the dash, and we have the OEM unit. I was right to assume that we have to take this piece off, and I believe all you do here is you're just going to unclip that. We're going to push this here. Okay, now this unit is ready to be installed back in the vehicle. For the next part of the install, what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to mount the dash. Now this is a very crucial part of the install, and it's all because of the wiring that you have to do. The issue that you do run into, whether you go down or on top, is you have to keep the attachment from the monitor and this completely clear of this steering column, because as you can tell, it moves up and down and it goes in and out. So the last thing that you want to do is just arbitrarily stick your wire in here and for some awful reason it catches a mechanism that it's moving, and now you've just completely fried your display and potentially destroying your Tesla. So you do not want to do that. What I did here was I just taped this very securely. If you guys take a look at the display here, what I did was I taped this section toward the very top so that it remains to the very top. So when this whole section here goes forward, this wire can actually articulate like this here with the movement, as opposed to it being somewhere down here and potentially catching on a moving part. Again, this part may not be 100% necessary. You may have a better way of doing it, but I want to side on safety, keeping this on top and making sure this wire articulates completely away from the steering wheel. So now what we'll do is we'll actually put this together. There are little arrows that go into these little latches here. You want to place this part, there's actually a ridge that it sits on both sides. I recommend that you put one side at a time. You'll hear it click, and then you go to the other side and also hear it click as well. Also make sure that your wheel is all the way down and as far forward as possible so that you can see everything. So let's go ahead and put that in real quick. Okay, you guys heard I clicked the right side. Now I have this left side that I need to make sure it's in the groove. Okay, that setup is complete. And what we'll do, we're going to go ahead and double check the wheel goes up, it goes down, and now you're going to see this articulate, and you'll see what I'm talking about when it is all the way back. Okay, that's all the way back. I can see that my wiring harness to the display has completely cleared, which is a huge plus. And then from here, I'm not gonna connect it just yet, but it will go just like that. These two will go in here. All right, so that is how you get this display on to the center console. And as you can tell, I have wired the wire looms and harness through the dash here and down below into the area that we need to tap into. Now if you take a look, you see this blue plug right there? Right there. That is going to be what you're going to tap this blue plug in. Now this one, so for the Tlyard's installation, it's a little different with this display. One of the connectors that goes to the AMD is going to go on the other side. This side here, as you can tell, it's got a lot of connections here, and I believe this is their version of the OBD. What you need to do is you need to remove this panel here. The weather stripping does come out. It's totally reversible. You're going to just simply pull it out. Here is the connection that you have to connect to. So all you're going to do, you're just going to unlatch it. The male end goes into female, male there goes into this female, and you are done with this side of the connection. Everything else is going to be similar to the video portion that I showed you earlier, but again, this side is just a little different with this connection. Okay, we're good. I have the unit installed for you guys to take a look at, and I will tell you, after playing around with the unit, this is definitely a nice upgrade from the prior generation that was only the 4.5-inch display. So here's one thing that I really love about it. The owner's car here is red. We could actually change the color of the car, which is nice, and you can change the wheel as well. So to do that, your right control knob, you're going to push to the right, and it gets you into this little menu here. And what you're going to do is you essentially toggle down to here to the menu. You can choose the language, you can choose the mode, which is classic or auto. You can choose the type of car, which is a 3 or a Y, the color, the wheel style, the theme, and the TPMS sensor. You can set it to either bar for you European people or PSI, which is going to be American. So let's go ahead and just get out of that real quick. Okay, so that's the display. I'm going to put the car into drive with the brake pedal on, just to show you guys what we see. So here you have the display of the car. You're seeing your lights, your drive or gear selector here. You have your mileage, and hopefully you can actually see if the car is regenerating or if you're using power. I have the distance controller here that shows me how far you are from the car. I've got the battery indicator, I have the mileage that's left, and the odometer. So this is truly a nice upgrade from the prior generation. I am sitting in it where the display is completely viewable. The most important thing for you guys here, let's put it into park. We're going to turn the fan up, and let me give you my impression of. Okay, so you've got airflow here and here. You do have a little airflow. It looks like it's coming over this little monitor in itself, but I do have a little airflow here. Other ones that you see are going to be really big and you have complete blockage of the airflow, but you do have some airflow that's going to be here. I definitely approve this type of setup here. So hopefully it's something that you guys find very useful. Again, I think it's a perfect compromise between form, function, and aesthetics. Provides you what you need in a nice, simple package that looks completely stock in this Model Y.